right, guys, another special episode. Here we go. It's obviously Thanksgiving, the time of giving and receiving. We got a special guest for the special episode. What's up, Oracio?
What's up, man?
It's good to have you on, man. I'm glad that you could come and share your story a little bit. Where are you from, dude?
I'm from Chicago. I was born in Chicago, Cook County. 1995, June 11. They created me. But yeah, man. I grew up in it's called the place is Cicero and Roosevelt by a lot of gang violence. You know, I grew up on literally just my dad was an alcoholic. My mom was always a sober one. She was always looking out for us. But see, I'm the youngest one out of 6. You know, so
your dad was the alcoholic.
Yeah, and the cocaine
mom.
addict. My mom was just a good one. I was taking care of
Yeah.
us, make sure everything, go to school, whatever, you know.
And
That's
they stayed married all the way till today, or
Yeah, they stayed married, man. Just cause honestly, my mom doesn't work. My dad would like literally take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm kind of young, so like my mom had me when she was 40. My dad now they're like 62, 63. So like most of the time of the life I was just there to so they were 40, so I'm not really like kind of young with them.
Your dad, did he stop drinking?
Yeah, I recently called him, and I guess my mom was telling me he still does cocaine, but he stopped drinking. But that's what he does. He stops drinking.
And then goes
And
to something else.
Fills it with something else.
Yeah, fills it with something else. He does good for 5-6 months, and then goes back to it. I mean, I try to tell him go to AA meetings, try to do something different, because he's just gonna keep following in the same pattern. But he just doesn't want to.
So you grew up in that environment. How was your siblings like? Were they subjected to your dad's stuff, and then they actually got into it too, or?
Yeah, like they would get into it just because like my brothers wouldn't go to school and show up. They were literally game bangers. There was this dude by the block that would turn out all the youngsters to their game, and literally like they just turn out game bangers, and just I grew up on them selling drugs, friends, shootings, and
How old are you today?
I'm 24.
24.
Yeah. I was about like 7 or 8 when I started remembering the shootings that happened on the block every time, and started remembering when I would sneak out to my brother's room and I'll find guns, little 22s and rifles and his scaled and everything. And I wouldn't really mess with it. I just thought it was cool to grab it and just play with it, thank God, and shoot myself and then shoot nobody else. And like my dad would be on the same thing. He'll have a gun, and he was too drunk. He would take me when I was little to the liquor store because some bums already had jumped him. So he would tell me to carry, the gun or a knife or a little 22 that he always had with him, and that's what I grew up on, and like literally all the girls that they threw parties, like every time, like I would tell my brothers like, oh, you took Dad's truck, like if I don't go with you, I'm gonna tell him. He's like, come on, and they will literally just jump on the car and go to other hoods.
Yeah.
And start shooting, and it's something that I got traumatized. Still to this day, I'm traumatized when I hear a big bang or loud. I get spooked, like because it comes back when I was little. I'll be in the living room, hear shootings, and I'm just literally like jumping after every shot. I mean, it's just not.
Isn't that like the capital of where like the deaths are at, or whatever? Like
in Chicago. Like what part were you in? Was it just all like that? Was it all like gang violence all the time? Because that's what we hear, but. I don't know how it really is. I've just been there for a few days on vacation. It was nice.
In the nice areas.
In the nice, right. I was just
the shopping malls.
Uptown, north, But yeah, there is nice towns. There's like Chicago is really nice. It's a nice city. It's downtown area, Navy Pier. It's a big city. We're the 3rd largest city in the country. And like there are just like every other state, man. They have nice areas and then they have bad areas. You know what I'm saying? And I obviously grew up in a bad area, growing up poor,
When was the first time you, like, drank, or, like, what? Or did you just go right into drugs, or did you start with drinking?
I remember I would steal my grandpa's cigarettes when I was 9.
Who hasn't done that?
Damn.
I know, man. And I was just like, and I'll tell my cousins, hey, let's go over here. And then I would be the bad one out of the family, man. You know, like somebody told my dad, when that kid grows up, he's gonna be crazy. You know, because of the things I've done. When cop cars would pass by, I would throw eggs at them, and they would call me canijo. You know, that's a meaning that's kind of like loco, crazy when I was growing up because of the things I would do. And like I didn't notice it, like, you know, and like one of the treatment centers in Chicago, they told me like, don't you ever, like, when you were young, you were jumping ramps and you liked the intense and you were gonna die, but you didn't know you were gonna die. You were jumping up 5 trash cans in front. That adrenaline was there when I was young,
Yeah.
and I liked it. You know, I like bad. I would throw M&Ms at cars. I don't know. I would bring yeah, dude.
You got them.
Yeah,
M&Ms, man.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah, the shit we did when we were kids, you know.
Oh,
Drinking was like first then, like out
It
of
was
it.
yeah, it was drinking with my uncles. I would like they would give me a sip of beer and stuff when I would play pool with them, you know, and like it started out with drinking, but I didn't really get into drinking like that. I would just sip here and there. When I was like 13, 14, I smoked first time weed with my cousin, and I couldn't stop laughing, dude. Like I just dude, I was like, what's going on? And my cousin was slapping me, and but I liked it, you know. And like I said, growing up in that area, my mom said, you know what, you're going to live with your sister because of how you're going. I don't want to end up like your brothers. But I was smoking weed throughout middle school, through high school when I was like 16, until I started meeting up with friends that will have Xanax, will have Adderalls, will have Ritalin, and obviously I fell in love with it, you know. Xanax was my thing, and smoking
me
weed was
too.
my thing, man, you know. And like literally throughout high school, I would take Ritalin just to pass tests. And like the people would tell me like, oh, just take this pill, you know, you'll do good on your test. You do good, and which I did good on my tests, but I couldn't sleep for the next 3 days, man, 2 days, you know, and. But
So pills were pretty easy to get, like in high school and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah, especially like Adderall and Ritalin, you know, and Xanax came in when my friend, one of my friends, Handy, he told me, let's go to Tinley Park. I gotta go drop off some weed, and we're gonna get this, we're gonna get that, and popped the Xanax. I literally was blacking out. I don't remember the night. I just remember waking up in the middle of the bathroom.
You remember
my
that,
friend
Kyle?
Cameron.
Cooking eggs.
Countless
Yeah.
times. Yeah, I'd go into full-on psychosis off Xanax. It got to be so bad, man. Like,
Yeah.
that was my thing, too.
Yeah, man. It was that, and like,
And did it progress like further than that? Like,
yeah, it progressed. I like started to be like, oh, let me try that. How does that feel? I already tried this. I want to see how that feels.
just going from drug to drug,
To
whatever
drug
it
to
was.
drug, man. And I had a girlfriend at the time. She was my ex, and she didn't know about it. She was like a Christian like girl, and her family was straight Christian. They would go to like the family will go on bands, and the brother will be on literally the drums, and but she was like strictly like, you have to be home by 9 o'clock every night. So that gave me advantage of me. After 9 o'clock, I'll go on my bullshit and do whatever I have to do. And like, I was a problem child in high school. You know, I would get into fights. I would get suspended. I was literally always ditching class, all because I wanted to smoke weed, because I wanted to pop a Xanax. Hey, let's go do this. I'd rather do this, you know? And like, yeah, man, drugs are just bad, man, you know? And
Yeah.
and heroin and fentanyl didn't even came in before then. Just slowly progressed, you know? Like, like when I got expelled from my high school. I went to alternative school, and that's when I started getting more heavy on the Adderalls and Xanax. And I didn't even graduate it till like 2 years after, because I was slacking on my packet. But I did end up graduating by this much, you know. And like, I went on my own. My sister kicked me out. You know, I was always bringing weed to the house. She always smelled it every time they went to visit my parents' house. I would be literally bring all my friends. We party, you know, pills. They would drink, but I would smoke weed and pop pills, you know. But like, they got fed up with it and they kicked me out. And I was at the time, you know, I had bought a Blazer, and I was literally living in my Blazer, and I was just like homeless, and you know, and I didn't really, you know, I was like, damn, what am I doing, you know?
When did you get to heroin?
I got to heroin when So I got to heroin when my friend had killed somebody, and I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I went to jail, and I had to come back from where my sister lives. No, I mean from where I was living with him to my mom's house, and my older brother and his girlfriend were doing heroin. And every day they would sniff it and sniff it and sniff it, and I'm just watching them, you know. And I was just like, oh, I didn't really care about it. I would go to work, come back, and like, you know, one day I was just like, hey man, can I try that? And he's like, my brother warned me for like a week. Said, oh man, you don't want to do this. And his girlfriend was like, you don't want to do this. I was like, I've done drugs, man. What are you talking about? Let me try it, you know. And for like a week it was like that. They wouldn't let me. And so one day he was just like, man, look, I warned you, but here.
They always say that. I warned you. Look, here you go. You don't
Right.
have it, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they don't care.
This was your brother.
My oldest brother. Yeah, he's in prison right now. He's gonna get out in
How long were you in
couple
prison
months.
for?
Him?
You.
I was in prison. I went to jail.
You went to
I
jail
was in county, yeah.
just for like a month.
For it was like 3 months. They tried to charge me with what is that? Accomplice murder?
Like conspiracy or
Conspiracy, something like that. Cause I had blood like on my sweater. I had blood on my shoes. That dude that died, and I was just taking off my friend out of the dude because he kept stabbing him and stabbing him.
You
with a
watched
kitchen
that?
knife. Yeah,
Shit, man.
I was on Xanax. That was before heroin. That's
He
what I'm
was
saying.
like, what are you
And you don't
fucking
really
doing,
remember what
man?
happened.
I don't
or-
really remember what happened, and I felt so like I was like so guilty because that night I had gave my friend Xanax, and he told me the next day on county. I was like, bro, I don't remember anything. I'm like, oh my god.
And he was the one who.
He was the one that stabbed him, and I came and like I tried to pull him off. His mom was screaming my name, and it was just a horrible night.
I know, like, I've heard of some stories where, like, guys have woke up in their cell and they didn't know what happened, but there was footage of this guy sitting outside of a Walgreens and he was on Xanax,
Oh, yeah.
and some lady or someone walked by, and then he thought that they were, like, talking to him or said something they didn't say, and ended up
God.
pulling out his gun because he was scared that they
Yeah.
were going to kill him, killed her, and then woke up in the cell. It's like, I didn't do anything, and that's how Xanax, like, how bad it is,
Right.
how much it can get you, because you don't remember what you're doing and you become somebody else on it.
That sucks, and he's like in prison.
Yeah, no,
Or-
he's actually. So this is the story. This is what happened. So I guess my friend owed those guys $40 worth of weed. You can search it up on Google, whatever. This tells you the story. We came out in the Chicago Tribune. We came out in the newspapers. We came out on the news. And that case, I was just really scared. But I guess my friend owed him $40 worth of weed, and they were calling him. They were drunk. Those guys were drunk, telling him, "I need my money." They blah blah blah. you
40
know?
bucks?
That's what everybody says. Come on, bro, $40, you know? And like literally, like, you know, like they came to his house, and I was upstairs FaceTiming my ex-girlfriend, and I guess they had jumped him. They jumped him. He came up upstairs with a kitchen knife, threw me a kitchen knife, and he said, "Come on, bro, if you don't help me, you know, you're not my boy." He had a broken nose. He was bleeding. So I guess they came back. And I was literally on my shorts. I was sleeping over his house that night. I was on my shorts, on my sweater. I was not ready. So I just told my ex-girlfriend, "Look, something bad happened." I clicked, threw my phone in the bed. He already went downstairs. He was already on it. I went downstairs and like literally put on my shoes from the garage, and I had came out, and these guys jumped out on the Jeep on the roundabout. And like literally, man, like all I seen was just like 4 guys trying to jump on my boy, and my boy was just going like this, and I was running towards them, and I had a knife on me, but I threw the knife. I didn't want the knife, you know? And like literally they saw me and they jumped in the Jeep and they left. As they were leaving, I just was chasing the Jeep, and I tried to grab bricks and everything and trying to like hit them, and I seen to my right, and I just see my friend. Everything happened so fast. We went upstairs, and you know, I don't
Did
wanna-
he died?
Yeah, he died. He died
And-
the next day.
Your friend is in prison.
Excuse me?
Your friend's in prison
No, he's still fighting that case right now.
to this day.
To this day, I check up on his court dates.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
How'd you get off that accomplice murder charge?
I got the other guys that were literally on the other witnesses said that my friend stabbed him. And I told the story. Look, man, listen, bro. I looked up, I came down, I ran up to these guys, and I came and I, was jumping off, and all those guys were saying it was him, it was Rudy. And my lawyer showed me all the witnesses that were talking. I went to jail at first because I didn't talk. The officers were in my face like, it was either you or him that stabbed him. And I was just on Xanax. I was just like this, chilling. And I was just telling him like, dude, like, I was like, bro, like, I don't know nothing. He's like, I am not your bro. Don't call me your bro. And I'm like, damn, like, they just like, and I just fell asleep. And then I guess throughout the night, they talked to all the witnesses that were there, and you know, they told me it was me. And then they told me, yeah, you're coming in. I'm like, well, I didn't even do anything. I was, you know, and I told his mom from jail, I was like, I didn't say nothing, I didn't do nothing. This guy better not blame it on me. He better not, you know. And they trying to get it as what is self-defense, because they came to the house, not once but twice. They came, they jumped him, and they left, and they said they were gonna come back with bats and guns. So they trying to get him on self-defense, but the dude died not right in front of his house. The dude died like across the street. So it's gonna be tough a little bit.
Well, how long ago was this?
That was 2015.
He's still in jail?
Yeah.
Still fighting it,
Still
man.
fighting it, man.
He kind of has a strong case, but
Right.
you stopped him from stabbing him over and over again. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man. That's a crazy story.
So after that, you started using, heroin with your brother.
I started
and,
using heroin, and heroin took away everything from me. I've took all my clothes at the time, my designer belts, everything that I worked for when I was slinging drugs. It took away everything, and I felt like it was a discipline for me, because of all the bad shit I've done and past in my life. And I went through hell for the next 3 years. A year and a half, I was doing regular heroin. Then I got into fentanyl, and heroin turned me into a monster. I would steal from my family. I would steal from anybody that, hey, I'm gonna be your friend. Just, hey, can I borrow $40 and I'll pay you back, and I'll never see them again. I would.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's crazy how the new generation that's using fentanyl, like, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that I was using heroin, but like the fact that heroin is a step lower than fentanyl, how damaging heroin was to us, like how it was so destructive with our families, and how everything, just fell apart for us. And then there's something that's above that now. I can't even imagine how it could get worse.
Yeah, man, fentanyl is no good, man. The only reason why I really loved it is because it hit instant, and I noticed that I didn't get sick till the next day. I was like, I'm not sick. I still woke up good, and I liked it. And, from there, literally took off. I was kicking doors with my friend Jonathan. Still to this day, he's in the streets. My mom tells me about him. Your friend's in the streets. He's real bad. He's panhandling. He's getting into fights. He's robbing people. And, and she cries because, like, every time she sees him, like, it reminds me of me. It reminds her of me.
Yeah.
And she says, like, thank God you moved to Arizona.
You ever talk to him, or you try to?
I try to, man, and I tell him, but he, how addicts, they don't want to hear it.
No, you can't tell him anything.
And he's out doing fentanyl and that kind of stuff.
He's doing crack and fentanyl.
Yeah, that's crazy. So did you have a rock bottom, of your entire time? Did you ever overdose or anything like that?
Yeah, I overdosed on Xanax and lean. I overdosed on fentanyl a couple times, and they brought me back. That didn't wake me up. Why when I got out of the hospital, I would literally go back to the same thing. It's
after
like,
you almost died?
Yeah. It's like, I feel sick, I'm sick, the only thing I wanted. And they would tell me, get some treatment, there's some suggestions here, go to this, go to that. Yeah, let me get the pamphlet. I'll call my mom, whatever, my dad, and my dad would come pick me. I would go to the house, and next thing you know, I would leave, try to hit a lick, or try to panhandle, do whatever it takes to get the next one, because that was my life right there. Like, woke up, fentanyl, go to sleep, fentanyl. Okay, woke up, I will go panhandle at this grocery store that I got a job on, because I was going there for 6 months straight, but I would help out push the carts to the dude that was working outside. And I would literally, I wouldn't ask for money, only for the people that literally was having full of carts full of groceries. I would be like, hey, you need some help? If not, it's okay, for a couple dollars. And, I will make like $40 to $60 a day. But I will be there for like 2 or 3 hours and pushing carts. And I get sick, man, every day. So, I have to be there. I have to do something, this is a job. It's constantly, I will come home and it's like I can't even enjoy the high because like sometimes I get kicked out of that place, and like what am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do? Like, you know, and like most of the time my mom would enable me when she saw me sick, throwing up, and you know, like literally just dying, and she would cry and give me $20, and then after that I'll go do something, won't come back till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know, it's just horrible, man. None of my family wanted to talk to me. Like at the family parties I wouldn't go to, I would feel embarrassed. Like they all knew what we were doing, man. You know.
Yeah, that's happened for me too. Like I would be so messed up on Xanax, and like when they say go get help, like go out there and get help. Like when you're in it, there's no way you can see that like you can just quit that day and like go get help. Like you got to get pulled out of it. Like I showed up to my grandma's funeral high on Xanax, and I didn't even really get to grieve her death because you just don't feel anything. And then like
Exactly.
yeah,
Man.
and you know, how do you live that down and feel better about it? I mean, the only thing that's happened for me is that I've had to give up that remorse and all that pain and anguish to God and let Him heal me on the inside, the
Exactly.
void. I mean, but otherwise, if I was still using or whatever, that would tear me up inside. It probably would have killed me from wanting to cover that up with Xanax, you know. So I feel you on that.
So your rock bottom, was it like something that you did, or was it something that like somebody like helped you get into? Like, how did you get here where you are?
Oh, I came to Arizona, Prescott, about 7 months ago. 7 months ago, because I'm about to have 8 months sober. I was going in and out of this treatment center in Gateway. One of my friends had, recommended me there, and I didn't have insurance at the time.
Did you walk in?
No, my friend took me. Me and him were both sick. We were doing it,
Yeah.
but like, he would leave the next day. Like we only went there like once, me and him together. But I knew about that place, and like, I got so cool with the owners and stuff that they kept letting me go back in and out, and I literally brought drugs in that treatment center and take people out with me. I didn't care about anything. Like they would let us go on passes. We can have money, whatever, and when we come back, I'll put the bags around, where,
Yeah.
tie them up, and then go upstairs and they'll drug test me, and I wouldn't do anything till I get up there, and like literally I would take out people with me, and it's fucking horrible, man, now that I think about it. And like one time this dude he overdosed on me, and I told him what it was. He never did fentanyl ever in his life, and I told him, and he kept telling me, go get some, you know where to get some. Like, come on, bro. Like, and for like that, he was like telling me, I was like, you know what, whatever, bro, okay, I'm gonna go do it. When I grabbed 2 bags for him, and I grabbed 4 bags for me, and I told him, take a small bump, because over there mostly people where I'm from, they snort. It's only like a couple people that shoot. And I told him, snort a little bit, man. Don't do a lot. Yeah, you're fine. But, us addicts, we go for it all,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man. And it's just like, okay, we did it, we were doing something, and he went back in there, and I heard him snort the whole thing, man. And he comes back, I was like, dude, what did you do? It's like, yeah, I did everything, man. I don't really feel it. I'm like, well, obviously you're not going to feel it now. You have to wait. I'll be good, man. I'll be good. He laid down. I was like, whatever. I went outside to the living room to play ping pong with this dude. And something told me after 15 minutes, like, go check up on this dude. Something told me. I literally went back in there. His face was blue. His lips were purple. He was like, he was overdosing. I slapped him like 4 times. He didn't wake up. I tried to like wake him up. I couldn't. I didn't have to do nothing but go tell staff. I said, hey, listen, man, he's in there. He's sick. I don't know. He's probably overdosing. What? He's overdosing? They went to go check. All the nurses came, blah, blah, blah. They drug test everybody, and obviously me and him only came out. And they told me, okay, listen, man, you got 2 options. You can restart or you can leave. And I told him, like, whatever, I'm gonna leave. I'll be right back. He's like, you sure you don't want to stay? Like, just stay and restart the program. Like, it's okay. It happens. Like, you don't,
How long was that program?
30 days. Over there in Chicago, there's no 4-month programs like out here, man.
Yeah.
It's 28 days. I feel like it's a scam.
Did that guy die?
It is a scam. Yeah, there's
scam.
no way that you can get any
Right.
sort of healing out of 28 days.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
It's a big scam, dude.
Did that guy die, or did he?
No, he lived. His name
well-
was Chris. I actually texted him and stuff, and he's like, thank you, man, for actually coming back. I'm like, dog, you don't gotta thank me, bro. Like, I gave you something that you
Yeah, but
almost
you
die.
could have not said anything, and that would have even been worse on you.
That's
know?
true,
Like
man.
at least you did the right thing and not
Right.
like just because you're scared and you didn't want them to know you were using.
Yeah, I didn't want-
You
right.
just who cares? It's somebody's life at risk
Somebody's
right there.
life, right.
It shows that somehow God is working in all of this. I had a drug dealer, and he went by the name Jay Dizzle, and like that was like such a corny like white dude name. But anyways, he would come around and he'd give me heroin as much as I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
And I went up to this hotel in Vegas where he was staying at, and he was all messed out, and there was dudes passed out on the couch, and he had a
Wow.
gun. He was waving it around at me, and he was saying, "If you can get one of these, let me know." And I'm like,
Right.
"Why are you doing this?" But
Right,
then
right.
I was sitting there withdrawing, just like wanting to leave because I was scared. And he was taking his sweet ass time, like how
Oh my
meth dealers
God.
do.
Yeah.
But anyways, this guy. He I didn't talk to him for a while, and like I don't know what happened, but I guess he got in some legal trouble. But I was in a sober living house in Vegas, and I was just scared to death of him. I didn't want to ever see him again. This guy shows up at the sober living house like wanting to get treatment, and I'm
Okay.
like, what the hell? So I had like the master bedroom in there at the time, and then somehow like it got shuffled around like a chess game where he got to get in the same room as me. So now I'm sleeping next to this drug dealer
Wow, that's
that was
crazy.
really almost killing me with heroin. So I went almost a year in there without using, but I was still messed up inside. I didn't have any internal healing. And then it got to the point where I found some pills at about a year, took them, got it back into heroin again right after I had my year. And then I was in my bathroom in the room, passing out, like almost like dying. Like they were slapping me too to try and wake me up. And all of a sudden he's calling the guy to get them in there, and he basically saved my life.
Yeah.
Like somehow
Your drug dealer.
my drug dealer saved my life. But there's a ton of other places he could have went. There's a
Right.
ton of other options. He didn't even need to be in the same city or anything anymore, but for some reason God put him back into my life.
Right.
And then he ended up saving my life basically.
Right.
And I was sleeping next to this drug dealer that I was scared of for like almost 6 months. I never wanted to see this guy again, and now all of a sudden like we became good friends. It's weird how that stuff kind of works out. So what happened with you was probably for a reason, and it was in his plan. Like I'm sure that guy is going to go on and help somebody or get sober. Is he doing well, you said?
I mean, I don't know. The last time I talked to him was a couple months ago, and he kept asking me, "Yeah, I see you in Arizona." And I was telling him like, "Hey, so how you doing?" He's like, "I'm just trying to go back to Gateway." So that's the last time I talked to him. It was a dude that didn't really like. He said like because he was homeless at the time, so he was just like literally in the treatment center just because of that. And he was just saying, "Man, they manipulate you with all these meetings, and you can do a little bit, you can do this, you can do that." Like he was just the type of dude that would like his ego and everything was just saying they're manipulating you, this and that, and it was just a bad dude. I mean, I was bad too at the time, so
It's weird to see that we're on the other side of it now. Like how you said that you were a bad guy, that like so was I.
Right.
John, he's always been perfect, but he like being on that side of it and like playing by the rules then and thinking that it's all a scam and like there's no way you can ever get help, and then now we're on this side of it looking in.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
know from their point of view how it looks.
Yeah.
But then now we're looking in on it from that point of view. And it's crazy because you want to help those people, but you know that they're still in it. And like
So
you
you,
can't-
so you're back out on the streets, right? After that happened,
yeah.
and then
yeah.
what happened from there?
I went on a run, came back. At the time, like I said, I ended up getting a job at the grocery place, and I eventually told my boss that I was on heroin. And this boss right here is, man, he tried to help me so many damn times, man. Like he would literally like, man, take off work. But I was still pushing cards for $10 an hour, but I was still being making on top of that. So I was making money on top of that, and I was getting a check every Thursday. And I was getting a jab a day. A jab is 12 bags. It's a bundle in Chicago. And I would literally just kept doing it. I'm like, why am I gonna stop? I got money coming, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, why not? I kept doing it. But I was extremely skinny. You think I'm skinny now? I was extreme. I'm talking about, I'm sucked in. My bones, it was just like, it was just horrible, dude. And I was like, okay, I need to take a break. I took a break, kept coming out of the room. And like my boss gave me a million chances, and like I would feel embarrassed because like the people at the job would like know I would be on it, and I would wear the same clothes every day, and I didn't care about my hygiene. I didn't care about nothing. It was just that drug. I would go to the bathroom like 20 times a day when I would be working and sniffing it. And you know, it got to a point where my boss said, "Listen, man, if I don't fire you, they're gonna fire me." And you know, I try to help you many, many, many times. And when I lost that job, I went back into Gateway, and I told him like, dude, I'm hopeless. I wanted to kill myself many times. I had a knife to my stomach. I literally just wanted to end it. I had so much pain in me, man. Like, you know, and like it's no fun place, man. And I just like Lori, my counselor from Chicago, said, hey, look, there's a place called Reflections in Prescott, Arizona. If you're willing to go and change your life, get away from here, get away from this environment. I said, I'll do anything at this point because I don't know how to stop. And like I kept crying, and like the last time I went, like they kept me on the eye lookout. They wouldn't let me go on passes because they know what I've done. They just wanted me to do good, and I couldn't have anything. So they told me, okay, well, there's a place called Reflections in Prescott, Arizona. You know, you want to go? And I said, yeah, why not? You know?
And they paid everything for
the
this,
insurance. My insurance
your-
from my job had paid it.
Oh,
But it was I went through Cobra. I went through Cobra, and Cobra you have to pay monthly or every 2 months or something like that.
so it was before or after your boss let you go? It was that,
Yeah, when he let me go, that's when I was hopeless.
and
know?
you had the insurance still.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you say that was your rock bottom,
My rock bottom.
right when you lost that job, because then
Right.
you couldn't like supply yourself with
It-
like jabs anymore. You couldn't get
Nothing.
anything, so it was like that was it. I mean,
They would know I would take the truck, the company truck at night. I would go in the office right when they were closed, and I would take the keys, and the company truck was out in front, and everybody would leave. I'll come back 20 minutes later. I'll grab it, and I'll pick up some other guys that were doing heroin with me. Hey, I'm gonna give you a ride, but you need to bust out 2 bags. I need you to bust out for heroin for me if you need a ride, or else you're gonna, $3 and then $3 over there for the bus and the train. That's, yeah, man, let's go. So that's what I would do. You know, I was a fucking selfish bastard, man. I didn't care nothing about the drug. I just cared about the drug. I did a lot of bad things there, man. And why one day my boss said, okay, if they don't fire me, if they don't fire you, they're gonna fire me. So that's when he's like, I gotta let you go. And that's
Well,
when,
it's good you still had that insurance to come out here or whatever.
yeah.
how long was the program you said over at Reflection?
Reflections? It was 3 months, 4
3
months.
months.
Yeah.
You feel like 3 months took care of it for you?
Compared to home, yeah.
Yeah.
And like
And you're in like where you at now right now?
I'm at a sober living actually in Whipple. So I got a sponsor. He's my ex-sponsor now. He had relapsed after like 10 months and stuff. But I was still working on the steps, And I've never worked the steps. I've never got a sponsor. I didn't care about the meetings. Over there back home, I was just being in the meetings in the back bullshitting, talking, and
Yeah.
I just didn't care about it, I just didn't until I came over here. And Reflections is a good program because like they literally phase you up. They train you slowly by slowly.
Yeah.
And back home it's just 28 days. 28 days over here is just like in residence, I think, inpatient.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just literally, okay, now you're in phase 1. I think you can have your phone, this and that, you can go out. Phase 2, you can have a job, this and that. Phase 3, you can have a car. So, like, it slowly, progressively, went good. And, like, but I was impatient, I was just like, damn, but I want it now. And
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah, dude, and my sponsor's just like, just wait on it, man. You'll get it. Just relax, just chill, Do what you got to do right now, and then eventually it will come. Then I started, when I came to Rush House and Reflections, after, like, 3 weeks, me and my friends started praying. Something that I've never done on a daily,
Just somebody there, or did you pray with
Joe.
like the?
There's a friend, Joe, that I had in Reflections with, and he's like, hey, let's pray. Let's get down on our knees and let's pray. And I said, okay. And it got to a point where like, hey, did you pray? Yeah, hey, did you pray? No, okay, let's pray. And it got to a point where it's just like, he didn't have to tell me.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely I was doing it. And God has been amazing throughout this whole journey. Out of all the times when I was here in Prescott, Arizona, I would cry out to God because I don't know what I was feeling in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know what was going on with me. They told me it's a pause. It's like what is that called? What's a pause? When your brain is trying to heal and it doesn't know what to do with it without the substance.
Pause. You're talking about post-acute withdrawal
There you
syndrome.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, I kept my sponsor. It's okay, man. Like, and then sometimes I felt like getting high. I was like, dude, I want to get high. And I would tell my friend, let's go on a hike. Let's go do something. He'll call the Uber. We'll go on a hike. I'll climb rocks. And next thing you know, the next day, I was like, thank God I didn't use yesterday. So if I can overcome that, I can keep going.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not easy. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Did you learn all this on your own, or like did you learn a lot through reflections? Did they teach you some good stuff?
Yeah, they taught me some good stuff, man. Like literally, like they just told me like, okay, step one, step. Well, my sponsor told me about the steps, you know, but like they just told me like what was going on in my brain, that you're gonna be peaking within 6 to 9 months because your brain is trying to get to the normal. Because some part of the back of the brain or the front of the brain is telling us to do the good stuff. You know, it's like the decisions we make. There's a pyramid. It's like the thought or the saying and then the action.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's the CBT triangle, the
Right.
cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, where your thoughts turn into emotion and then turn into action.
Exactly. There
Which
you
is
go.
which can be anger or whatever it is. And
Whatever
if you
it-
let it get to that,
Yeah,
then that's
yeah.
what it's gonna be. Yeah.
And like literally, man, like we're not used to feeling those emotions because we like to cope with it with drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that I could feel angry, sad, or happy, now it's so like, okay, I'm angry, but I'm angry, like angry.
But you can at least like go back and find the root of the cause of like where it's coming from, the
Yeah.
fear or whatever it is, because we tend to future trip.
exactly.
How are you able to like forgive yourself from the past?
I don't know, man. By doing the next right thing, by helping people, by hey, you need to go to a Bible study. Come on, bro, I'll pick you up. Let's go. Hey, what are you doing Sunday? Let's go play some volleyball. Hey, trying to get people to do activities that's fun or get in touch with God and like literally just like that, you know. Like one of the dudes that was staying at the sober living, he came to the house looking for Corona, but he relapsed after 14 months.
Was this recently?
Recently, it was like about 3 weeks ago or so.
Oh,
but
Damn.
but he was crying. He had no gas in his tank. He needed cigarettes. He was hungry. He was drunk. And he's like, hey man, you know, you think you could help me out? It's just like, listen, okay, you know, let's go. He's like, you drive, bro. He's like, you got your license? I'm like, yeah, because I'm drunk. Okay. I went to go put gas in his tank. I went to go feed him when at Taco Bell. And then I bought him cigarettes. And I told him, hey, there's actually a Bible study tonight. You want to go? And he's all like, yeah, we can go. And I was like, but for real though, man. And we started talking. But then I called him later. He doesn't show. He doesn't answer. No, nothing.
You were gonna invite him to our Bible study that we go to. Yeah.
There you go. And he recently keeps asking me for money, man. Like, and I told him no.
That's the thing. We were all in that spot.
Yeah,
once,
that's what I was
and
talking about with how you can see both sides of it. Like,
Right.
yeah. What would you have done for yourself in that situation? You know how you've asked for money.
Yeah.
And like, what would you have done? Like in his case, like I know that we shouldn't enable him, but
Right,
you know how much
exactly.
pain he's in.
And you never
Exactly.
know when his rock bottom's gonna actually be to where he's gonna want that help in. But
Right.
you gotta let him know that you know, how are we gonna help the next person when we know exactly what they're in and how they're gonna use us.
Right. And I told him like recently, like I don't want to give you these $50 so you can get drunk and go die. Because
Yeah.
that's what somebody told me before. Like you,
Exactly.
why do you do that? Why are you giving him money? Because it might be his last bag. Don't do that anymore. You already helped him once. You try to tell him, hey, go to a treatment, go seek help. He doesn't want to do that. If he does go seek help, and he's in treatment, I will stop by and, you know, here's some cigarettes, dude. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing all right. Just keep it up. Keep the fight. You know, and I went through so many relapses, man. This is like, it was my 10th time.
Did he ever go through he went through a program higher than too, right?
Yeah, he did went through a program, but his only stay by staying sober is with his higher power. He said he talks about the manipulation, that they feed you bullshit, that the AA doesn't work. I told him, dude, that's an addict behavior, man. You know, this might be your last time. You might get, I'm gonna give you the $40. You're gonna drink, you're gonna drive, and you might crash. You might die. I don't want to do that.
So you're able to like go out and help somebody and not like get back into it right now. You're at a state right now where you can do that.
What do you mean?
feel
Like,
like you can get in the car with somebody who's drunk and using.
yeah, but that day he relapsed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make him stop before it progressed. That's
Yeah.
my thinking. Like, okay, let me help him out. Let me try to, hey, we talked about meetings, and he's like, I don't go to meetings. And I was okay. You know what? Look, there's a Bible study tonight. You say you're in higher power contact with your God. Let's go. I called him. He didn't answer me. I messaged him. He didn't reply. So like after that, I was just like, okay, checked up on him 3 days. Call him. He doesn't answer. He's not answering me. I told Corona, hey, Tony realized he knows him, and he tried to call him. He didn't answer. Just no answering, man. Like, you already know what happens at that point. When they're not answering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened several times with a lot of close friends that we've had in the program that you just thought that they were gonna make it. They were gonna do something like they were gonna catch on like like you have.
And they just disappear.
And they just disappear.
Like that, dude, like a flick of the finger.
I'm trying to get some of my buddies from Chicago to come out here, man. And I have one friend that he told me recently, I want to come out there, man. I see you're doing good. Like, I said, okay. It's like I told you, go to Gateway. I will call my counselor from back from home. You got insurance, right? Yeah, okay. We'll make it happen. But they don't take the action sometimes, because it's hard, really hard. When I was out in the streets in Chicago, literally Chris Colunga, the dude from Reflections, Lori, my counselor from Chicago, gave him my number. And I will leave Gateway. He will find out. He will text me, hey, buddy, you don't want this. You don't want it. And I kept ignoring and ignoring and ignoring. Didn't listen. It progressed. And I wanted to kill myself. So I said, look, I'm hopeless. I surrender.
That's what people don't understand. With something that you said about, that when they just stop listening to you and they just go at it and they disappear.
Yeah.
That's the disease right there. Like, that's the part where people don't get in the public, is they think that addicts we're using because we want to. It's not a disease, it's a choice. Yeah, it's a choice, but that compulsion is what is the mental disease part about it. It's because other people can drink and use drugs maybe and then put it down and stop.
Right.
But with us, there's some sort of fuel behind it to push us to keep going back to where there is no option. You feel like you're gonna have a panic attack and then you're gonna implode if you do not use. That's the disease.
And you want to say this is the last time over and over, but
I did that for years.
It's that way every single day of like you're
it's
just skating by, and whenever you're enabled by your job or whatever it is, it keeps you functioning.
Exactly.
So and then we go through that insanity of like doing all that shitty stuff. You know?
And I try to stop and drink beer, it led me back to heroin. I try to stop smoke weed, let me back. Cocaine, let me back. Xanax, let me back. Anything that I put in my body, eventually I will touch heroin again.
Yep, me too.
So I can't fucking do anything.
Yeah, no drinking,
Nothing. I can't absolutely do anything because then at first it might be good. You got money, you got a car now, this and that, but you will start losing everything. You lose everything around you, and then you lose yourself. And you're like, how the fuck did that happen? And that happened to me many times. And like literally I will relapse, and I'm just like, okay, what am I gonna do different this time? Look at my mistakes from what I did back then. Shit like that, like it was just like people told me it's gonna progress. Keep going, it's gonna progress. And I didn't listen, and it progressed.
Yeah, we always think we know.
Right.
Everything.
We think we know everything, man.
Yeah, like.
But it's cool to see you at like age 24 and like just where you've come right now.
Oh yeah.
Like I just want people to know out there that like at your age you can pull out of this, and at any time. Like when I'm 40 years old and I made all my mistakes. I never went into treatment. I was a functioning alcoholic for 20 years, and just meth took me down at the very end. So it's good to see like you can learn from anybody. Like even if they're younger than you, older than you,
right?
It doesn't matter. It's like you all learn from each other, like your mistakes or whatever, and you don't have to be scared to like talk about your shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you're,
good to
you're
have it
very
open
about all of this, and I think that's been the key to our success right now in our sobriety is the vulnerability part, because we're so used to just growing up and having to keep all that inside.
Right.
And you need to get somewhere safe where you can actually talk about this stuff,
Exactly.
and then and count on God as your higher power. You know,
Yeah.
pray, and then all of a sudden it'll click, and on the inside you'll just start to feel like okay. You know how you said you were going through the phases at Reflections phase 1, and
Yeah.
you were all antsy. We still had that addict mentality
Oh,
and
yeah.
that compulsion. We wanted it now.
Right,
Now.
right.
But once you go let yourself have that time, you start to just calm down, and all of a sudden you see things a lot clearer than you ever
Yeah.
have before.
And you can forgive yourself, like, right now for all the stuff you did in your past. Just a clean slate. You're born again.
Yeah.
Like, the second you stopped using that wasn't you before that. And if you follow God,
exactly.
you're reborn again as of that day, and you're forgiven of all that past.
After my 4-step
So-
and taking inventory and
Yeah.
stuff like that, I let it go with my sponsor.
Yeah.
And I prayed by this lake and talked to God and told him, like, listen, one day at a time, I know you will guide me, because that's what I say in my prayers at night, please keep guiding me, please watch over the sick and suffering addicts outside and inside of these worlds, and literally blessings keep coming.
Yeah.
I'm about to run a sober living after February 1st,
Yeah.
my friend's sober living, and
You're running it?
yeah,
That's awesome, man.
yeah, man.
It's
It's-
very inspiring to see somebody at this age
It's
catch on.
so
I wish I caught on. You know, I'm 33 now, man, and it's like I'm just finally getting the hang of it, man.
Yeah.
it's so difficult to just like change your life and just start hanging out
What-
with these people at
right.
first, just to see it. You're just like, this sucks, because there's no like instant gratification in anything,
Exactly.
and you have to just slow everything down. Like, that's the
Everything.
first thing, is just like slow it down and just kind of be open to something new, or else you're gonna die. I
Yes.
mean, that's all there is to it.
You have
There's no
right.
other way.
You have to let it out, man. Whatever you feeling, call somebody.
Yeah.
Whenever you think you might do the next wrong thing or whatever, call somebody. Go to a meeting. 2 weeks ago on Monday, I feel like getting high so bad, but that's what we do with it. Okay, I went to a meeting, helped out a little bit, called my sponsor, helped me out.
Yeah.
Said, go to sleep, it's fine, you're okay.
And you
ask
still get
God.
those urges a little bit here and there, right?
I get them
mean,
once every month.
Yeah.
It used to be like once every 2-3 weeks when I first started.
Yeah.
Because for 3 years straight, I was doing heroin and fentanyl.
Yeah.
So it's not easy, compared to 3 years to a couple months. But it got better, and so much better by talking,
Yeah.
like I said, and hanging out with the winners.
It's
Stick
so
with the
fucked up,
winners.
like how we can see that negative, just the
Right.
positiveness of the
Like you
drug,
said.
and not the negative, and it just twists your mind
Yeah,
of like,
man.
Yeah, like
and it's
that's all
that one time will turn into 100 times. I
Yeah,
mean, that's it.
If you give yourself that one time, like, oh, I can just drink, I can hang out with these people and just
Right,
drink,
right.
like I'll be okay. Like if I just smoke this weed, if I just smoke weed and
Right.
leave it at that, I'm gonna be okay. It always leads back to that. As soon
Everything.
as you take that hit or you drink a little bit, you'll just feel that void open up.
Yeah,
And all of a
yeah.
sudden it's so empty. And then you'll have it masked for a little bit, but then what'll clear that void is going right back to your drug of
exactly.
choice,
Yeah.
So you just cannot mess with it, and you have to
No.
get to that point where you have to say I cannot touch this anymore. I have this problem.
Yeah.
There is no way I can, and fuck with it. I can't use anymore. I can't drink anymore, and then start doing the next right thing, like you said.
Exactly. So, phenomenal craving. Once we touched that first one, you exploded your brain, and then mental obsession comes in, and it's just like, yeah, I'll just do it for one day. Do it for one day. Maybe you skip 2 or 3 days, but then it will come back.
The cycle just repeats
Cycle
itself.
repeats over and over, and it's just like us addicts, we do the same thing every day, expecting different results, and that's called insanity, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how we think that it's gonna be just fine if I do this one time, or if I just drink or whatever, like you were saying. Everything leads back to your drug of choice, because you're not really satisfied with weed, with coke, because you want the real deal. This is how it is, man.
Yeah. Well, I hope you continue to stay good, man. Like,
I got hope in you, man. I can see.
Yeah.
That's why we wanted you to come on here today, because we know that you got something to say and
Yeah.
that you've been through it.
Oh yeah,
and
man.
and God has done a real healing in you.
Blessings.
Yeah,
man.
and that I'm just trying to spread that message with John here.
Yeah, you
on
think
the
Prescott?
podcast.
You think Prescott has like changed your life a little bit too?
Yeah, why'd you decide to stay?
Not just like moving here, because if you
Uh-huh.
just moved here and you're just going to do the drug in a different city, but
Right.
it takes two things to change. You move and you go into a program. But
Right.
what is it that Prescott like did? Did it have something like
It was
involvement with the
different from home. It was real
Yeah.
slow.
Exactly.
There's no real. Back home. There's drugs everywhere in the corners. You see the guys out there. They're selling drugs. Over here, you don't see that. It's a really nice town, man. Like, it's like kind of like older people, but I like the slow pace, man.
Yeah.
For addicts like me and you.
The people like they're way better, way nicer here.
Yeah,
Like,
way nicer.
you could almost run into like somebody at a grocery store that you know or whatever.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
And then the Bible studies, like, I didn't like him at first. I'm not gonna lie, but like it really like took me after 2 Bible studies,
Uh-huh.
and I was going like the 3rd, the 4th, and 5th time. I really started to open up and be like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this town has done wonders for me. At first, I hated it too, just because like I've never lived anywhere besides big cities. And then you come here and shit's not open like late.
Right.
It's like everything feels like it's an inconvenience in a way. But then on the good side of it, on the flip side of it, like you feel like safe here. You feel like
Yeah.
you're around people that get you, and they're all after the same thing, which is getting
Exactly.
sober and getting the recovery they need. And then that change happens in you, and then you just give up control, and you're like, this is God's really done a blessing for me here.
Exactly.
I would say the percentages of people that like actually stay here,
Mm-hmm.
the success rate of you succeeding and staying sober are going to
Yeah.
be way better. The people that go home, their chances are way worse because
Way worse.
you're not held accountable,
Right.
and all your friends are there.
Exactly.
And what are you going to go back to the second something doesn't go your way?
Right.
You're going to go straight
Temptation.
back to that drug.
Yeah.
So like I just hope people realize that when they're out here that they kind of make that decision that they're going to have a strong head
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
man.
can go back and not use, or else they're just kidding themselves.
Anyone that
Into the
says like
control.
I got it and can't wait to leave, like you gotta stay here
Right.
until it's okay with you to be here. You gotta
Right.
stay here and be upset, but then when you feel that change, it's like I can be here.
Right.
That's when you've had the change.
Exactly.
All the shift has happened. And we have guys that have come out of the program that we're in we've made real good friendships with them. Like we really care about these guys, but they could not wait to get out of here.
Exactly.
And then guess what happened?
The relapse.
Yeah, and they don't answer their phones,
Right.
and they're in jail, and
Right.
they're in somewhere else, and that you just lose them. And that's the one part that's hard about being in this town is just that you meet such solid people in recovery and sobriety, but then at any day those people can disappear.
Exactly.
It's the downside to this.
I just want to say, do the next right thing when nobody's looking. Get in touch with whatever your higher power is. If you're struggling with addiction, there is a way out. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to put in the action and just get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Sweet, man. Thanks, guys, for joining us for our Thanksgiving Day special. Glorious. Yeah, this was a great topic. I'm glad we got to have you on, bro.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm welcome.
And,
man.
it was awesome for
Thank you for
you to
having
share
me.
of course, man. We'd like to probably have you on here again, but
It's awesome.
just to see your progress, how you're going, because
Right.
we could feel like you're definitely a winner on on the sobriety thing, and we're rooting for you, dude. So.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you
After
later.
Thanksgiving.
All right, have a good day. And cut.